That's collect tolls when they strung a cable or chain across the river, pretty narrow here, to collect money from the boats going up and down Mosel. We just had a lay of male dominance. There's 4 males and a female here, but I can't tell. Another chapel there. There's our group touring this morning. Greg and Bethel. This swan is fishing here. Been diving down for some little fishies. Big beauty. He's a monster. Beautiful swans. He's taking out a few feathers, preening, getting ready for a nice day. Morning bath. Well, here is the Rathaus Square. There's only 700 people living in this town. Kies has got about 10,000. They call this town the Pearl of the Mosel. And looking around, it's sort of like a Tübingen/Strasbourg arrangement. These old homes, never destroyed, made it through World War II. That one up there has got a 1644 time frame on it. That's pretty old, guys.
Sweet people, so we can just about fit in there. You know what the gentleman who runs
this is the pointed house. Very different architecture, wider at the middle than it is at the bottom base. There's a waist to it.
Take your neighbors, grab your neighbors, and do this in the house.
A lovely little town square here. She's talking about in the Middle Ages, 1500, they took a bath once a year. This is a bath stube. People would come here and sign up to get a bath. And they'd pay money and get their annual bath. And they'd have some drinks. So they would serve family women. So it's the stube house. She's talking about this old 1649 house.
Usually what happens up here, that's where you have your shop with the good red waters and the river. On the next one, on the upper, you cook, and on the next floor you will see.
And there's the fortress, or the river. Beautiful old town. Grand Castle. Karl's Platz. I'll do a little selfie here with a scan around this square behind me. Pretty buildings, both sides. Yeah. Cloudy, chilly day. It's probably still 60 degrees. With a little wind blowing off the river. Still got it.
4 acres of fine vineyards. Here at the Mosel, the importance is not to have a lot of acreage, but have the famous plots, the famous vineyards. And the famous vineyards here that we have ownership in is Wiener Sonnenur, Gracher Himmelreich, Bergkastelei, very famous Bergkastel doctor, and Warnerberger Juffer Sonnenur. These vineyards are famous since many hundreds of years, but they produce the best grapes.
Where we're going.
The best grapes you produce. The wines today. Now, the wines we're going to serve will be on the left side of this tasting list. This one red and 3 white wines. Before we get to the wines, the name of this estate is, first of all, it has called this Weingut, which is wine estate in German, and then this one is called Witwe Dr. Hartanisch Erwin. It took me some time to learn it by heart, but now I have been here for almost. Yes, that's okay. So what did his name come from? It's the history of the estate in this name. So this Dr. Hugo Tanisch, he purchased this estate around
Well, after some confusion and traffic on the run, we made it to Boppard. We haven't gotten off the boat yet because they're still docking. But it's a beautiful day, a bit hazy,
And he comes down.
It's a Saturday. The Germans are out enjoying their motorboats and their yachts. And I haven't seen anybody water skiing. Water's pretty cold. And we're heading up the Rhine. The Rhine flows from Basel to Amsterdam to the North Sea, from Lake Constance, and Schaffhausen, I think it's named.
It's more about quantity instead of quality. And Riesling is the opposite. It's more about quality. And if you have a look behind us, there you see all the way the hill along the sides. And that hill is called the Botbaarder Ham. And Ham is a big river bend along the Rhine here, which has the shape of a horseshoe.
Oh, it's a horseshoe bend.
It's called the Botbaarder Ham. And this is an area where we have the largest...
It's a cable car going to the top of the mountain. Power gliders going on.
Costs €8.50 for a return trip.
Julius Caesar built a bridge here in 55 BC in 10 days, 30 feet wide. Of course, he had an army of 100,000 men that were cutting trees down, and they did it right at this point. Well, we're heading south, which in this case is upstream on the Rhine, following this Lorelei starship. Might be a day trip out of somewhere. And we're heading at kilometer marker 544 to the famous Lorelei Rocks, the sirens of the deep that brought many sailors to shipwreck, coming to listen to their songs and not watching for the rocks to get smashed up on. Rhine is pretty, but nowhere as pretty as the Mosel was, with its constant view of vineyards on either side or both sides of the river. They don't have many vineyards here, or by comparison, there's some straight ahead of us. I'll zoom in on them now. It looks like a vineyard patch up there, but nowhere near the numbers of the Mosel, or Moselle as the French call it. Germans have a sense of humor sometimes. That is called Burg Maus, like a mouse. M-A-U-S, it's spelled in Auf Deutsch. And we're 6 kilometers from Lorelei. That is the town of St. Goar. And the next burg we come to is Burg Katz. So they have a cat and a mouse burg. Two princes that had somewhat of a friendly rivalry going on, built their castles and church holes right after each other. Yeah, this looks like a pretty good shot. Here's the Rhine coming down from Bonn. Remagen, there's the bridge over the river at Remagen, movie. Anderbeck, this is called the Little Rhine. Koblenz is where the Mosel comes out, and you see the Mosel word on the left, ending up to Koblenz. It flows into the Rhine and goes on to the North Sea. Both these rivers are flowing north. A bit strange, but they flow north. Here's Boppard, where we were, a cup of coffee and some shopping today, and parked. And we're heading down to Lorelei. There's that St. Goar I was mentioning. There's Burg Maus. There's Burg Katz. There's the Schönberg. There's Bacharach. And all these towns along the right, down to Rudesheim. And pretty soon we'll be at the Lorelei. There was a whole stream of motorcyclists, probably about 15 or 20 of them, for a weekend holiday ride. This is Pfingsten in German terms. Pentecost, I think, is the 10-day holiday that they have here in Catholic country. A bunch of speedboats just went by. I had the camera off, so I didn't get them. Some funny names on these barges. I hadn't seen one that looked like the Goblin before. Looks like he's got sand on there. And the people that live on their barges that they own, they keep their cars on there. Sometimes recreational boats on the back, but he's got a Zodiac, 2 cars. We're making a little turn here. I'm going to scan across the river from this village on the right bank. Actually, that's the left bank. So, this is the competitor to the Mouse Castle further down the river. This one's been kept up a little bit better. One of the largest castles on the Rhine, so yeah, not the largest by the owners. And there's kilometer marker 557. We need another 3 kilometers to go to get to 554 where the Lorelei Rock is. I think it's at the end of the next turn down in that direction somewhere. Don't see it yet, but it's around there someplace. We saw it going to Vienna. Now, there's one of our favorite cognacs, Asbach, mostly of wines. This is an Asbach boat, a Swiss boat. German fine Weingans, burnt wine as they call brandy. And they're having a festival in downtown St. Goar. There's some kind of a children's carousel. This is beautiful downtown St. Goar, right on the River Rhine. That looks like it might be the Rathaus there with the big tower on it. Town church. Beautiful village. So, folks, homes, there's the Hotel Colonus. Here's another view of Castle Katz. That's the original tower, defense tower. And this is a newer structure built in the 1700s. That tower goes back to the 1400s. And just a lovely scene. And you get a sign that says this is the Loreleistadt St. Goarhausen. St. Goarhausen. At mileage 556. And there's a sign they put up, and that's how you spell Katz. K-A-T-Z. Burgkatz in the old city of St. Goar. Right on the beautiful Rhine. Flowing very rapidly. There's a strong current in this river. And there is the castle. And there is Lorelei, sitting on a pile of stones, singing her song, boobs hanging up, making herself attractive and desirable by the sailors who crash onto the rocks below. Sort of a little peninsula that's sticking out from the banks. But Lorelei is doing her thing. I guess you can drive over to that somehow. Long hair coming down. She's not a mermaid. She's got feet. And that is Lorelei Memorial. This whole area is referred to as the Lorelei Rocks. So she's just put there as a symbol, so she can be seen easily from the river. And right at mile marker, or kilometer marker 554. That's where she is. And here is the whole bend we're about to go around.
No, but cheek to cheek.
Yeah, cheek to cheek.
It's that German.
We have, we're on our way to Strasbourg, and we're going to do a city tour, and we're going to have right on the tram now. That's where we are. I'll scan around the group if I can get my camera moving.
But it's not only shopping.
Here's our guide in downtown Strasbourg. We just got off the tram. And we're going to have a city tour for an hour. Oh, what's this guy doing down there? He's picking up coins. King Cat looking down at his servants here in the street.
That's a local cat.
Get a good shot of Bethel. Here is the Strasbourg equivalent of Bateau Mouche. People taking a city tour on the Ill River. Goes all the way down to Illhausen. And I'm going to maybe take a tram ride down to Auberge du Lille. Who knows? Beautiful river. Bridge with stores across the river there. And they've dug canals off the Ill. Here's one of the beautiful neighborhood sections right on the river. When you get to the corner, you have restaurants, coffee houses. Here's 12th century towers. Things have been standing for 800 years. Still in great shape. It's a brick guard towers, part of the wall, defense of the city, building the rivers, and the guard towers guarding the rivers and entrances. Cobblestone streets. And here's, he mentioned that Strasbourg is the 4th highest concentrate of bicycles in Europe after Amsterdam and Belgium, probably Brussels. A lot of bicycles everywhere going down a path here. Here's a pretty old building right on the river. It turned into a coffee shop. So this is what it looks like. You have the homes on the river. You come to a corner or a bridge and they break open into a patio where you've got some services offered. There's a couple on their balcony up on top enjoying a beautiful day. Beautiful day in Strasbourg. We're so lucky.